Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 63 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of PS VR2. I'm your host, Laurie, and it is an honor to be joined by two of the most petrified influencers in the metaverse. It's Reese and Sean. Hello, gents.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Hello, yeah, great to have you on again, Sean. It's been too long since one of the Quest episodes.
It has indeed.
Yeah, we need to bring that back, don't we?
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, we just thought we'd just let you guys just take over the main pod with all your Quest shenanigans.
Quest takeover finally happening.
We need to tempt Alex back, so we're just thinking, right, well, fuck it, we're just going to start talking about Quest until you come back.
That'll get him back here.
So yeah, our journey into the world of PSVR2 and Quest, I should start saying. But yes, thank you for joining us. Sean, no Ben once again. I think he must have another dinner party or something. I don't know. He's off gallivanting again.
He's too popular.
He's a busy man.
He is.
He's a busy man.
Gets invited everywhere.
Yeah, he's a man about town.
Imagine
Happy
that
to
lifestyle.
attempt to fill the void.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sean, to be fair, you probably play a lot more VR than Ben does. In fact, no, you definitely do. So it's probably good. And especially this week, because as I mentioned, you are both quite petrified and you've both been playing MADiSON. So we look forward to hearing your in-depth thoughts, both of you, about that. I obviously have not been playing MADiSON because
smart choice.
There ain't no way.
No MADiSON at all.
Yeah, no, I am not that mad. It's on
Yet.
Yeah, not yet. But before we get to that, let's chat a little bit about this week's news. And there's been a load of updates for some of our favourite games. So let's jump into them. And Reese, why don't you start and tell us about C-Smash?
So C-Smash have just dropped the time attack update, which this works similar to some of their other modes. You get panels that appear up in front of you and you just have to hit them in a certain amount of time. I think you get a minute to hit them all. And then the most amount you hit goes up on the leaderboard and you have to compete to get the highest score. I gave this a go recently. It is a lot of fun. I think it's a shot to the top to become my favourite mode.
Wow. Like more than the main game, or?
Yes, I can
Really?
just see myself jumping in and playing this all the time. It's such a great mode. It's just addictive, and you keep going, oh, maybe I can do better this time, and you just keep playing it again and again. So highly recommend jumping and checking that out.
Yeah. Okay, well, fair play to the team there for just still expanding and updating this game. It's such a stronger game now than when it launched, so fair play to them. And are you playing this mainly on Quest, Reese?
I played it first on Quest, the update, and I have tried it on the PS VR2. I switched between the two on C-Smash simply because I never thought I'd say it, but you don't realise how much you miss the haptics when they're not there. And having the haptics on the sensor controllers on that game just feel amazing. You feel every hit with the racket. So
yeah,
if I'm wanting to have a quick game and I've not got the PSVR2 on, I play it on Quest. But if the PSVR2 is already on, I'll jump on the PSVR2 version just because I think that is, I don't know, it's the original version.
Haptics versus cable, though.
It's very mood dependent and time dependent. It's like, I've only got 5 minutes. I'll just put the Quest on and do 1 minute 20 seconds of time attack. So if you've got not enough time, then the Quest version's a good one.
What's the Quest like, guys, for like loading times and stuff?
Very quick. It depends on games. Like if you load a bigger game, then you got a bit more of a considerable load time. But some of the smaller titles on there, it's pretty quick. It's surprising. It's a device that constantly surprises me every time.
Well, week by week, I edge closer to buying.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yep. Enough about my edging, though. Next up, we've got Puzzling Places has had a multiplayer update, which is quite cool. I saw a friend of the show, Miles, playing this, or tweeted out he's been playing this. Either of you fans of Puzzling Places?
I've never played it.
I've not played it, but I was watching some of the trailers earlier, and it did look quite interesting, actually. It looked like a fun, chill game, so I'm interested in it.
Once again, Alex, we need you back.
Is this Alex's forte?
Yeah, no, he's a big fan of this game. So yeah, I can imagine, like, I love games in VR in multiplayer. I don't like multiplayer in non-VR at all, but in VR it just hits different. And I can imagine it would be so chill if like you got a friend you go and hang out with, you can just boot up Puzzling Places and just do some puzzles together. That just seems such a kind of nice way to hang out with someone, really.
Definitely.
Doing something together.
VR multiplayer is just always the way to go. Whenever there's a game that doesn't have it, I think it's a miss.
I imagine it's just you're placing things individually and trying to complete the level together. Is that how it works?
I believe, yeah. So the way it was on Quest,
so.
when I first saw the trailer, it looked like you can take each other's pieces and kind of work together and do it like that. So
you can hide the final piece and then just
fail
on
it. I was
going to say, is it competitive?
I remember seeing the mix. I remember seeing the mixed reality thing when you first started putting out the trailers for that, and I thought it looked really cool because you could just like use your actual hands to grab the pieces. So yeah, I'm glad they've brought the multiplayer over to PSVR2.
Very cool. Very cool. Another update for Arizona Sunshine 2. Another Horde map has been added, which is, I believe, one of the ones from the first game, Undead Valley.
Correct.
Did you play that one before, Reese?
I have on Arizona Sunshine 1. I've not got around to it on the second one yet. Good map. It's a bit of the larger scale ones that, because obviously on the Horde maps, they're quite situated into one area, whereas this one is a bit more open. So, yeah, it's good to see the bigger maps coming over.
I tried to play this on Quest. I know that I'm saying a lot about Quest, just because
that's fine. You Quest away.
Had like half an hour to get some games in, so I was like, right, stick this on and play. But I tried to play the new maps actually, and for some reason I don't know, it's on the Quest, but the previous 2 DLC maps just weren't there for me. I could only play the original. I don't ever needed to get a certain score to unlock them. But if anyone does know, do let me know because I would be interested in checking it out.
Did you update
the Corgi skin though?
I say that, and it sounds like it's like a "did you plug it in" type of question. Well, the amount of times I've went to play a game on Quest and it's not been updated.
Well, it was uninstalled, so I installing it. So it should be the new release, but yeah, I couldn't quite figure out how to play the map.
I have no idea. I haven't played the Horde mode at all, so I don't know. Stresses me out, Horde mode. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, it's very similar to After the Fall in that sense with the Horde mode. So
I wish you could just skip to like wave 10 though. Sometimes it's just 5 minutes of like 4 zombies.
Yeah, that also annoys me about them as well. Masternoid, another game that we love on the show. That's got some new content, some new challenges, some new skins, as in that's for your little zapper ray gun.
I'm assuming so. Was skins always a thing?
I think
I don't remember this. I don't remember it. Maybe I just never looked.
But yeah, there's new maps, what do you call them? New stages? Yeah, stages, I guess. New things to...
Levels.
Yeah. I'm still not sure if they've put the CBVR logo in yet, or Alex's head, but, we're working on that.
Well, they could use Alex's little logo of his head that he uses all the time, so, yeah, they definitely need to get on that.
AI Alex.
They've got to do it. It's got to be done.
That would be fun.
Immortalised in a video game forever.
So we've talked about Masternoid enough over the years, but if anyone hasn't checked that out for some reason, go give Masternoid a go and try and beat Alex's scores. He's up there with the leaders in the world. Now, this next update, it seems like the most significant of all these ones, and this was PistolWhip had quite a big trailer for this dropped. This is the Voidslayer update, and this is basically a kind of medieval themed power rock. More levels. Yeah, more levels, but it's a kind of power rock in a medieval setting, so it just looks very different from the main game. And yeah, another free update. So all the updates we just talked about, they're all free, which is just, it's great. They're great. All these games are getting expanded. They've got new content and new reasons to go check them out, all for free. So yeah, if you've got all these games, just update them in the next few weeks and you'll get some more stuff to do. But this PistolWhip one, this one seems, I say, the most substantial of all of the updates we've talked about there. And PlayStation were pushing it on their Twitter feed as well. They were dropping the trailer on there as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I do always jump in whenever there's a PistolWhip update just because of how addictive that game is. Like when I first got PistolWhip, I just couldn't get off it. So I always jump straight back in when there's an update.
I haven't played much of it. I played literally maybe 5 minutes I had it on like PC, and I've been waiting for a reason to jump in and buy it on PlayStation VR2. And I think this new update is probably going to be the one that gets me in there because it just looks awesome.
The haptics,
it looks so different from the main game.
Yeah. The little power metal, the metal hand, looks cool.
Yeah,
it's my type of music as well, so I'm happy with that.
Well, indeed, yeah. It just looks like a different game. I'm amazed it's not like paid DLC, but it's just cool. Yeah. But I don't think they charged for any of the updates, have they, for that game?
Not for PistolWhip, I don't think so. A lot of them have always been free. The only one that gets like paid ones is like Synth Riders and music packs on those, but then again they're using licensed music, so it makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, there seems to be like a resurgence in like metal rhythm games in VR with Metal Hellsinger and now this update as well. So I don't know what started it, but I'm happy for it.
Well, yeah, I guess it's just must do really well. And I think, well, clearly a lot of VR players are into their metal, so let's just give them what they want. Give them what they want. But yeah, no, I still have never played PistolWhip. I've kind of always I keep meaning to buy it, but I've always got stuff to play, and I'm holding it so that when PSVR2 in many years to come finally is dead, I've got something there I've got to look forward to that I can just think, well, there is nothing being released on this system now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start playing PistolWhip for the first time. So it's just like I know I'm going to love it, so I just want to keep it there, hold it in reserve. So almost like a kind of in emergency break glass kind of situation.
I got the platinum on PistolWhip, so I thought, Joe, what? I'll go back to the PSVR1 version and try and get the platinum on there. I played it for about an hour and I was like, yeah, no, this is not the way to play this game. It just didn't feel good at all.
A lot smoother, I guess, on PSVR2. Frame rate wise and stuff.
Yeah, and surely the controllers, as in the responsiveness and stuff, that'd be hard. Because it's a very quick, fast reactions kind of thing, isn't it? Cool. So yeah, bunch of updates there. Jump on them. Next up, Sugar Mess, I believe it's called. It's coming to PSVR2, and there is a demo out now for it. Now I hadn't heard of this game. I think it was announced it was coming to PSVR2 already last month.
A long time ago, yeah. It's been on the store.
We hadn't mentioned it, but so this is kind of like a on rails shooter, basically. So it's kind of like a
very artsy, cartoony.
I mean it's designed for like all the marketing and promotional stuff, and their page on the store, it's all like family VR fun kind of thing. And watching it, I was like, yeah, I'd let my son play this because it's just like kind of one of those sort of light gun games or roller coaster things you get like at Alton Towers, where you're sitting there on a little carriage going around on a little track and shooting targets and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I played the Quest demo a while back, and the first level just has you standing still and shooting things coming towards you, which is really, quite, again, it's very artsy. And then the next level was on a moving train shooting things, and that felt really good. So yeah, it's definitely one to check out. I think it's like you said, Laurie, it's definitely one for the younger audience as well.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's good.
I've not seen anything of this game, but I'm just picturing Switchback, but with like candy canes and like sweets and stuff.
It's like we've seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, of course I kids film. It's like, the world where the sort of cookie, the sweets world where they have all the races and stuff, and they do all the Mario Kart style races. It's like that kind of theme. It's like a whole world made out of biscuits and cakes and ice cream and stuff. Also, like there's tracks in Mario Kart that are set in that theme, and Mario Galaxy. And anyway, so that gives you an idea. And the final game, which has been, I don't know if this was a reveal or just a date, but The Murder of Sherlock Holmes, which is basically an escape room style thing, which Reese, you've tried before you played?
No, this is the first I've heard of it. I think it's the first coming out on any platform. So I joined their Discord, tried to find out a little bit about it. It's made by two developers. One of them's the art designer and one of them's the programmer.
Amazing. So
it's literally just two of them. I think one of them does one other thing as well. But yeah, I think they didn't really give anything away as into story or things like that. But I like it. I think I like the look of it. It reminds me of some of the more cube-style VR games, which I think is really cool. And again, the fact that it's just made by two people, I always find that really ambitious. Just it's a very small team, very tight-knit. And I'm looking forward to trying it.
Is it sort of like the Room style of game?
Yeah. I think so. Well, I've seen it described as an escape room style experience.
Sounds interesting because I love that game.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Like, I really love like Seventh Guest and The Room VR. I think escape rooms work brilliantly in VR. It's a really cool idea. So, yeah, Sherlock Holmes themed one. Why not? Give it a go. Cool. Let's move on to what we have been playing, and we've got
before that. Quickly, yeah. So last week I was mentioning WASD, and obviously I mentioned a whole mass of creators, but I forgot one, and for that I apologise, and that was Paradise Decay. He came up to me to get him to sign his VR creator book. He literally has a whole book full of VR creators in there.
I saw that. It's amazing. Yeah,
such a surreal feeling. Just getting someone to kind of go, "Can you sign this for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sweet, sure. This is cooler for me than it's probably ever going to be for you." So yeah, he's absolutely lovely. But if nobody knows Paradise Decay, there's a ton of VR videos, literally like I think it's daily he drops a video.
Great channel, a lot of content.
From Quest, PSVR2, PC VR, literally the whole works of VR is on there. And he just constantly uploads. He's like a powerhouse of the man he just pushes out. So highly recommend checking out his channel. Absolutely lovely dude. And yeah, it was a pleasure meeting him there. So again, thank you for giving me that memory that's probably going to stay with me forever now of just signing your book there. I don't know where you keep this book at home. I'm not going to question it, but yeah, it's such a cool idea. And yeah, I noticed you also got Tigress's signature there. You showed me a few others. He was on the hunt for Miles, but I think Miles had left that day, so you can find Miles. But yeah, no, really cool idea, really surreal, and just overall very humble experience. So thank you for giving me that.
Also, pops up in our Discord from time to time, doesn't he? Remember that?
Paradise Decay. I don't know.
Is he not?
Discord? No, I think
confused with someone else.
Well,
Paradise, can you join our Discord?
Join our Discord.
That's what I was meant to say.
Or any other VR players, or just general gaming players, join the Discord. It's a lovely community, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Reese. Any other news before I move on? Any other updates? Anything else you've seen? What's the big stories in the world of Quest this week? And don't mention the big game because we'll come on to that.
Probably the two big games that are IPs already, so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we'll come on to that a little bit, just as a little bit of foreshadowing there. Well, let's move on to what we've been playing. And I given a go to OhShape, which is a really weird name to say out loud. And this is kind of another one of these kind of rhythm action games, like your sort of synth rider style thing. It's pretty good. The difference with this one is that you have to use your whole body and move your arms into crazy poses. And then this kind of wall comes towards you with cutout shapes with the arms. Doing funny things, like it could be like up to the side or sort of zigzagging and stuff, like you sort of Usain Bolt doing a pose and stuff, and you have to make the pose. Yeah, okay. So you have to make the pose so that the it comes over you, the wall passes through you. So it looks quite a lot like kind of Beat the Beats style aesthetic, and then yeah. So it's pretty good. I think it's. I don't know. I think I'm playing quite a few of these.
I know Reese is laughing at.
I know.
It comes over you.
There we go. I was going to say that. No, I'm going to let him sit there and have a little giggle.
Sit there and stew.
Why do you think I muted the mic? I was like, I'm just going to have this to myself. No one's going to mention it again. And Sean was like, I know what he's laughing about. Come on, Sean, just leave it.
Yeah, no, it's just literally the wall just sort of comes over you, and you have to go through it.
How does it work with does it scan your body frame?
You don't want to know how it works.
What if you're really
you have like a sort of silhouette that is, you have like kind of stickman silhouette, and it seems to do a pretty good job of where you move the controllers. It's only the legs don't seem to do anything. It's only the arms, and obviously the headset can see where your hands are, so it's kind of knows where the arms are, and then you have to squat as well. So I guess it knows your height and stuff, so it can work out whether you're squatting and stuff.
Does it get quite difficult? Like, does it change between them really fast?
Oh yeah, it gets really difficult. So in terms of actually doing a workout, this is pretty hard, pretty hardcore, much more than say Synth Riders or even Beat the Beats felt. So for that, it's pretty good. You are moving your whole body and you're moving it quickly, and you realise very quickly that it is hard to keep up. And I think I did a couple of stages on just easy to get the hang of it, and then I put it to normal, and normal was really hard. And I think there was another couple of levels it could have gone up to further than that as well. So it's pretty intense, I think, if you were doing it. And you load it up, it's a Beat the Beat style UI where you've got all the tracks laid out in front of you, and you can
that's good
scroll through them all. And I would say that the music was a bit, some of the tracks I listened to were just kind of quite annoying, kind of quite repetitive loops of the track, and it's just got quite annoying to listen to in a way that I'd never noticed with, let's say, Synth Riders and their original material. I've never been, that's always a joy to listen to. I've never heard a bad track on Synth Riders, but some of the tracks on this felt a little bit more like generic and boring to listen to, which is a shame. I don't think there's any licensed music in it. Some of it was just like instrumental beats. I did find a few songs that had lyrics and stuff, but it was nothing at all memorable.
Was it like club mix music in any way, or? Because I've not played.
It's all different genres and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of kind of electronic sort of club.
I'll give it a go tonight.
There's some
you've intrigued
like,
me.
metal stuff in there and stuff, and you can find it there. But it's not. it's quite hard to find. You're just like doesn't seem to be organised. There's just lots of different things. So yeah, and I it seems to it kind of lacks a bit of character for me compared to some of the other ones. Like there's no funny rainbow monster thing like Beat the Beats has got for us. But yeah, it's just a bit like you're just straight in there and you just pick songs and then you're just straight in pulling the shapes and stuff. So it's a bit more bare bones, I think, and it could do with a bit more character and a bit more. I don't know. The music could be more interesting and stuff.
I think that could work well with mixed reality. To be fair, if you fill your whole room with like the things coming towards you.
I feel like it has a mixed reality mode on Quest. I might be wrong though.
I feel
like they teased it when it first came out on Quest.
It's got a cool UI when you sort of first you pick a song and you have like kind of this board in front of you, all the buttons on it. You can select the difficulty on. There's a big button in the middle. You can start the thing, and you can just click a button, select no fail mode, and there's some other sort of accessibility settings that you can just easily toggle off and on, just to make it as easy as hard as you want it. I did it with the no fail mode off, and I was like, really hard. Like it seemed really hard to get the pose and to strike the pose in that way. So obviously, once you practice it more and stuff, I'm sure you get.
I mean, no foul mode on Beat Saber is always a difficult thing. Yeah, so I can imagine actually moving your whole body and doing it as well was just
it's
especially if you're saying it come. Yeah, especially if it's on the did you try anything above medium? Like, is there just easy, medium, hard? Is there expert and things like that? Or
yeah, I think there's 5 different difficulty.
Yeah,
settings,
I'm going to give that a go tonight. I'll let you know how it goes.
Try the hardest. I'm intrigued about what the top difficulty version is like.
You will just be there. You'll be like,
I'll give that a go. I'll record it for you and send it over just so you can.
Please do. That'd be really funny.
Okay, brilliant.
So yeah, I think if we were doing our fitness episode, I think this would rank very highly on that. It actually gets you moving and gets you fit. I think and there are some packs that are just for sections of it that are just specifically fitness style things, and you can say, right, I want to focus on these muscles and stuff. So you can use it quite. It's been designed as a fitness thing, so just pretty cool.
Oh, that's good then. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it's a good way it does, but for me, it's just a bit. It doesn't really stand out enough, and it's a bit generic and stuff. So I'd rather be playing stuff like Sim Riders. I think.
Is that just because you prefer the music in Sim Riders, not so much? You're not diminishing the gameplay, it's just the music.
It's just more entertaining, I think, and I've just found it this kind of a bit.
Yeah, I think that's the same with like some of the boxing games that come out with the rhythm. You play one of them, you go, the music's not really hitting me there, and you play a game that's similar, and the music be more to your taste. You know, they'll have the similar gameplay, but you're going to go with a better music, aren't you, for yourself?
Yeah, so I would say watch some trailers for it, and just if you like the look of it, there's not that much to it. I think if you saw a video of it being played, you'd be able to decide pretty quickly if you think it's one for you or not. So yeah, OhShape,
sounds good.
Check it out. That's what I played this week, I think. What about yourselves? I know have you played anything other than the scary one?
Other than Quest games, so played some Contractors Showdown. I actually played more of that today before I came on because I am addicted to it. And I think it hit like 7:05. I just jumped into a game with a load of random people. I was like, right, we need to play this quick. We need to rush. I don't care if we die. I need to be somewhere at 7:30. So yeah, it's one of them games I just can't stop playing. It could be like 11 o'clock at night and I just load it up to jump into a match. It's got its claws back in me again. So yeah.
Let's come into PS VR2 at some point.
I'm hoping so. When I last spoke to the devs, they said there's no announcement or there's nothing planned. But I don't know if they're just hitting see how it's doing on Quest. It is currently the top selling game on Quest. So it's just it shot up. I mean, the first Contractors was always a very renowned game and very highly regarded. So if you've got a Quest, definitely check it out. I mean, it's on Steam VR as well. So if you've got PC VR, you can check it out there as well. But it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And what about you, Sean? Have you played anything else other than?
Not too much. My week has been work, sleep, and playing one of the titles we'll be talking about in a second. I've been trying to get through that one, so that my focus has been finishing that one game, really.
Fair enough. Well, let's move on to it then. Let's hear what you two both think about MADiSON VR.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to go first, Reese?
Yeah, go on. You go first. You're further than me.
Okay, so I think me and Reese are going to have sort of different approaches to this game because Reese has played the original version Reese has
yes.
been in the VR like environment a lot longer than me as well. So I've never played the original version. I kind of put it off exactly for this reason, because I wanted my first playthrough to be
good choice
in VR. I didn't have PSVR 1, so I never got to play like Resident Evil 7 or anything like that. And I knew this one was going to be good. I don't know why. I just knew this was the right type of horror that I've been waiting for a long time. And after all the delays and stuff, I was just getting more and more anticipated for it. And when I played it at first, I was just like, it just blew me away, honestly. I was just having a great time with it. The atmosphere in the game, the music in the game, the sound design in the game. It's like a complete package of everything VR enhances in a horror game. And
now, so when you said that you knew it was your sort of horror game, what sort of horror game is it for? What do you mean by that?
It's more of a psychological horror. There's not any combat in the game. It's more survival horror or like an escape horror like Outlast or PT. It's more about the environment. It's more about puzzles, and it's more about the story rather than being able to find ammunition and weapons to take down enemies and kill enemies to stop the threat. The threat is always there, and you kind of have to just go with the flow until you can figure out how to escape this place.
You just have to deal with it, I think, is the best way of putting it.
Survive.
Just deal with it.
Just deal with the threat, okay?
Yeah.
Carry on. It's not there.
See, I don't usually like horror stuff, but I did love PT.
Yeah.
I managed to finish that, so I'm still not going to play MADiSON, but that's the sort of thing that that's more my sort of thing.
But I think from PT, obviously, that was cancelled, and I think that spawned a sort of a genre of its own with games like Visage, MADiSON, and a bunch of other games, and those games are all games I think would be really suited to VR because you are in that space. It's a confined space where it's claustrophobic, there's noises happening, and creepy things jumping out of you, and that is more effective in VR than I think a game where you have to shoot zombies or something like that, which is also good. But I think, the atmosphere in this game is what sets it apart from your Resident Evil type of horror.
Cool. Well, then, Reese?
I'd agree with you with it sets it apart. I mean, with Resident Evil, obviously, I'd say Resident Evil 7 worked very well in the atmosphere as well. So I think a lot of people are comparing this in the sense of scariest VR game to Resident Evil 7. Because again, I'd agree, I've probably not played something as scary as that in VR since Resident 7. MADiSON is scarier in every sense of the word. This is a game that's I've watched a few people play it as well after I played it myself. And I've noticed one thing. Everyone is playing this in a defensive state. The way they have their body is in a defense. It's in a defense stance. Everyone plays it like that. No one is playing it with their arms down their side, having a casual breeze. Everyone is terrified playing this. You can see it from just the way they're standing. It's horrifying. It's one of the scariest experiences I've had in my life in VR. And I'll agree with Sean that the audio design is probably equally as scary as what you will see in this game.
More so,
you'll be standing, you'll be standing in one room and there'll be nothing around. All of a sudden, you just hear thunder and you just shit a brick because that thunder is so loud, so ear-piercingly loud to the point where you're like, oh, "What was that?" And then you jump around, you look around, you're like, "Oh, it's just a thunder." And then 2 minutes later, you'll hear the wood creaking like somebody's walking above you, and then the door will just slam, and and these things all just combined with this sense of dread that something is there. Is just so well done to the point where every time I go to play this game again, I go, actually, I think I need to do something else before I play this. I'll come back to it in about 30 minutes. I'll just scroll through Twitter for a bit. Yeah, that'd be fine. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Anything that can stop me from playing this game, I have tried to do. But then I'm like, no, I need to continue. It's great. And it is great. But you will get that nervousness, that dread, that anxiety, that fear. Everything this game will give you is there. There is a caveat with it, and I think some people would agree. Certain VR controls don't feel VR enough, like where you have to press the trigger to interact with certain things, like looking for a wall. They could have made it so you go a little bit closer and just put your head through the wall. Not put your head through the wall, but put your head closer, and it then instigates that your head's close enough to start the next bit. Or there's one bit with a tape recorder, and you have to press the trigger and the grip to start this tape recorder. Well, I didn't realise that. I was literally trying to press it with my finger and press the button. I was like, why isn't this working? Yeah, so there's little things like that. And I'm not going to say it's a bad thing because it's not enough to break immersion, but it's enough for anyone that's played VR for a long period of time to go, actually, that doesn't feel right. I want to use my, I should be able to press that button. But like I said, it's not going to break immersion. This game alone is too immersive to break immersion in any way. You can even fall through the floor and it won't break immersion just simply because you just think it's another scare that they're doing for you. It's that immersive that... I was playing it earlier on and my cat jumped on the side and knocked over all the cans and I literally thought something was in the room with me to the point where I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, it's just the cat. So I'm going to say, though, like, if you have any health conditions, like if you have a heart problem, do not play this game.
Yeah.
Like I think Miles played, he hit 132 heart rate. Thanks.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, Miles hit, I think it was 132 is his highest heart rate when he was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell over when I hit one of the jump scares. It's terrifying. So
to people that don't follow you on YouTube, you've put a jump scare on our Twitter feed. It's on, you retweeted, didn't you, from our Crossbutton VR Twitter of your jump scare compilation. It's a very funny video.
Yeah, so I fell over on one of the more well known that's been in the trailers. That made me fall over. And as Sean did say, I have played the original version on the flat screen, and I'm going to say someone who's played the original version knows what's coming, knows the story. This is terrifying. If you've played it and go, actually, do you know what? I know what's going to happen. Yeah, even knowing what's going to happen won't prepare you. It's that well done. So don't let playing the original deter you from playing the VR version because you will still get scared. You may be able to get through the puzzles quicker, that's about it, but you're going to have a blast.
I think a good thing to mention is that the use of the headset itself is really good. The OLED panels and the darkness, like, that can be the scariest part of the game. Not the jump scares. You can be just looking down a corridor through a doorway and thinking, there's no way I'm going in there because it's just complete pitch black and it just looks really great on the headset. The lights, the HDR, when you see like red glowing light bulbs and stuff, all that stuff really just pulls you into the atmosphere. The haptics in the headsets, there are certain parts in the game where it kind of vibrates in your headset and your character's feeling unease, I'll say.
Yeah.
And it kind of vibrates and a noise goes off and it makes you feel like you're having like a migraine, but obviously it's just
the ringing noise as well. Like, you've got I'd say have a good set of headphones because the ringing noise alone is enough to make your ears just pierce because it's like, it's almost like I'd explain it's like a concussion type of feeling in a sense, a person's ears ring, their head's throbbing.
So did it doing the whole 3D audio thing as well? Because when you're talking about hearing the footsteps above your head and stuff, because that's what I love the headphones, because you do hear stuff above you and below you and around you and stuff.
It's very 360 in the sense of the audio. It's everywhere.
Yeah, if you watch anyone's videos, as soon as the sound goes off, someone immediately looks to the left or right or wherever the sound has come from in the real group.
And like again with MADiSON, I think the uneasy thing is that you're constantly everywhere's dark, and majority of the time to get light, you're having to take a picture. So you don't know what's going to be there when you take that picture. So anytime you take a picture, your body just tenses up. Imagine playing a game for 2 hours straight where your body is just tensing up. You get out and you go, no, that doesn't feel good. It's that continuously. So yeah, if you're a horror fan, you've got to give it a go.
I think the camera works so well, you would think it was like a built from the ground up mechanic to the game because it just works so well. And the way you take the Polaroid out and shake it and look at it while there's also things going on in the foreground, it just really adds to the scariness of the game because you're looking at a picture, you don't know what's coming towards you at the same time, so you're always a bit scared to even take the picture and look at it.
Sounds ridiculous.
I'd agree.
Absolutely love it.
I remember we was talking about Overdark a couple of weeks back, and I was saying how much that made me jump and how scary I found that. And in some senses, they're both terrifying games. But I'd say the scariest horror game that's out on the store right now is definitely MADiSON. It's definitely the scariest horror game I've ever played.
And how long does it take to play it?
So it's quoted about 6 to 8 hours between there for your first time playing, just simply because the puzzles, they don't give you tips. They're very difficult to kind of, you'll do a puzzle in one room and you'll be like, it's done nothing here. What's going on? You'll walk down the corridor and the door's open. You're like, oh, okay.
That's very like PT, isn't it? Where you think, I don't get what's happened there, and then there's things that have changed without you realising it.
Or there will be like 2 puzzles in one room, so you'll do one of them, you go, okay, well, clearly I can't do that other one. I'll come back to that. There's a lot of backtracking, so if you don't like backtracking in video games, you're not going to enjoy this.
Where is it set? What is it? Without spoilers, give me a sort of brief précis of the plot.
So the plot follows. I'm trying to do this without.
You're awake in a house.
You're awake in a house.
You're kind of dirty, filthy, and you find pictures of severed limbs, and you don't know.
Dad's banging on the door.
Yeah, you don't know why they're there. You have to figure out the mystery, and the mystery of this house you're in, the residents of the house, the history of the house, and all of the surrounding bad things that may have happened in this place.
So it's not your house or anything. It's not.
I don't know.
It's weird because that's the thing. Some things make you think it is, and some things make you think it isn't. So it's one of the things. But there's a lot of tapes to listen to, so it's like Sean said. The environment is as much of a story as anything else in this game.
The whole game is set in this house. It's a haunted house type
pretty
setting.
much, yeah.
And there's the things...
and some alternate places here and there, which vary inside the house.
Well, don't say too. I don't want to.
No, that's why I'm being very vague of it. I mean, I know the story. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. It's just very supernatural in a sense. Is the best way to put it. You especially in VR, I don't think many people are going to know what's going on until they finish it and go, okay, let me think about that bit again. It's one of them situations. But
in its tone, I would compare it not to the actual story, but like something like Paranormal Activity, where the thing just continuously amps up and gets progressively scarier and worse as things go on.
Yeah, more disconcerting and more.
Yeah. Even though it's terrifying from the first 2 minutes. But...
yeah.
I know you is it sort of teleportation or just free movement around it? What's
free movement, snap or smooth turning.
And in terms of the gameplay, what you're doing in the game, what's the verb in it?
Literally just walking through corridors, taking pictures, completing puzzles to progress to the next.
Very slight inventory management.
When you say complete a puzzle, it's not like
it's finding keys or finding items to interact with.
Frames. Yeah, things. It's very Resident Evil inspired type puzzles, similar to them type of things. Yeah, all over the place. But
okay, that helps because up to now I've had no idea about what you actually do in this game. So you've just that's helped me understand, and hopefully for people
there are notes and letters that can kind of guide you in a way to solve the puzzles. Yeah,
and it's also your photos as well. They're also tips and also keys in themselves to do the puzzles as well. So as much as your camera is a source of light, it's also your way of getting through some of this stuff as well. So it's such a strong mechanic to the game.
And I don't think did it actually show you or tell you how to do that, because basically you use the camera to kind of interact with the house at times, and I couldn't figure out a puzzle for a long time, but when I jumped out of the game and loaded back in, when you have a loading screen, it gives you like tips at the bottom of the screen of what to do. And actually then it told me to use the camera in certain areas of the house, and I didn't know that until I read that tips bit in the loading screen.
Yeah, I noticed that tips thing came up after the recent update. No, it doesn't mention it to you. It's probably going to be one of them things that people who have played the original will know that's the thing. I'm not going to kind of spoil it, but there is also an indicator of when you've taken a photo that will link to something, is the best way of putting it. So once you realise what that is, then you'll go, okay. So enjoy.
Very good. Well, it sounds like you two are both... we don't score games around these parts, but if you were going to stick a score on it, what's your... I've seen some people without parole gave it 10 out of 10, and I've seen Upload VR 4 out of 5. What's the...
Yeah, I'd
say... Seems
Seems
consistent with where you guys are.
9.
Go on, Sean, you said...
I'm going to say 9, because I think this is the scariest and best horror game I've played in VR.
Fair play.
It might not have the mechanics, but the overall package for me is a 9.
It's an 8.5 for me. And that's only because it's only because of some of the mechanics. It just doesn't feel as natural as it should. But like I said, that's not a negative in a sense. It's enough to make me go, well, that could have been more VR.
On your Games with T YouTube channel, do you give game scores out of 10?
Yes, I do.
So it was an 8.5 from...
Yeah, it'll be an 8.5, definitely.
That's the Games with T score, not the Crossbutton VR score. We don't...
we don't score things down here. We just usually hit it with a thumb and an approval, and it has an approval for me.
Stamp of approval, that's what we give it.
Definitely a stamp of approval. It's I think anyone rating it between an 8 and a 10 is a fair score because it is a very, very solid horror game, and there's no doubting that. I mean, it was a solid horror game before VR, and adding VR has just made it 10 times scarier.
And the delays and stuff was worth it. You know, the VR2 rendering makes a difference.
100%. Oh, wow. The visuals alone, just...
Yeah. There were patches midway as I was playing it, which did improve it as well. Like, as I was playing through it, they were fixing things all the time.
I think I saw someone saying it's kind of almost photorealistic in parts. Do you get that sense?
It's got that PT vibe to it, where the actual house and things in the house, like sofas and windows and stuff like that, they all look great.
The textures and stuff, yeah, and that's because I mean VR is just that kind of, you feel like you're in that place in that setting. So to have photorealistic graphics just must be absolutely terrifying. Just because just your brain's just tricked into thinking you are there, you are in danger, and sod that.
And it's a good lengthy experience as well. That's another thing. You know, it's not a short horror experience. It's not an hour to 2 hours. This is, you know, depending on how much you get scared, this is going to take you some time to complete. So you've got a lengthy game there for the price as well.
Well, we know Reese likes lengthy experiences. Well, that's good. I think I'm glad to hear that it's a hit and it's lived up to the hype and it's given everyone what they wanted. So, MADiSON VR. Any final thoughts, Chance, before we move on?
No, it's good for me. Crack on.
Cool. Well, thank you both for reviewing that one for us. And before we get on to our topic, just a quick bit of housekeeping. Just remind everyone, if you want to give us a sub on the service they're using, if you'd like this podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, do the like and subscribe and all that jazz. Follow us on Twitter at CrossButtonVR. And if you want to join in with the conversation, go ahead and join our Discord. You can find the links for that in the description for this episode. For anyone out there that wants to pick up some prescription lenses for their headset, you can go to vr-rock.com. You get prescription lenses there for all of your headsets. So PSVR2 and Quest and other ones like Pico and stuff. You can use the code CBVR and you get 10% off and free worldwide shipping. So give that a go if you want to get some lenses. Yeah. Cool. Do it. So the thing I want to talk about this week, just quickly, I mean, MADiSON's been our main thing to talk about. Just quickly, I just wanted to draw attention to, we alluded to it earlier, but the big news this week in the world of VR is the unveiling of Batman Arkham Shadow. So this got a lot of people very excited. There's a new Arkham game, a new game in the Arkham series. People love that, and we've not had one of those in ages. And then lots of people were like, oh, it's a VR game. Oh, no. And obviously for us, we're like, oh, awesome. Yeah, VR game. Great. Just what we want to see. And what I thought was interesting is, like, later on this year, we have now got Alien VR. That was, we talked about that last week. That's been revealed.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham Shadow VR. And also Metro VR, which is entering a huge franchise that people love. And I think like Assassin's Creed we got last year, which on its own wasn't enough, I think, because that came out on Quest when that came out. But I'm just wondering if the end of this year that gets ported to PSVR2, that will probably get more attention there, I think, because it's more of a PlayStation-y gamer type franchise. I think. I hope they do. And you've got to think that everyone's like, oh, Sony aren't supporting PSVR2. And you're right, they don't have anything in the pipeline that we know about. But then you could say the same for the PS5 in general. We don't know any games that Sony are making for PS5 now, or even any exclusives that are upcoming, I think, apart from a few kind of live service titles that we know about. But we don't really know anything that Sony are working on VR or non-VR. So we have to assume that they are making games, obviously. And we have to assume
a showcase from Sony, please.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of rumours. There's going to be one in May. So maybe we will find out soon if there is going to be one. And you'd like to think that there'll be at least one PSVR2 game. It'd be pretty embarrassing for them if there's not, quite frankly, even if it's a hybrid game, like version of Astrobot or something, or even just some. But I don't know, we'll see. But you've got to think that Sony are making at least one more high-profile VR game. And I was just wondering, is this going to be the time, like later this year, when we get a new exclusive VR Alien and a new exclusive VR Batman Arkham game and a new exclusive entry into the Metro series? Well, I know Arkham is on, key thing to mention there, that is a Quest exclusive, but I think it doesn't matter. It is VR as a medium in general, because a lot of people are just kind of very dismissive of it. But I don't know, I saw the fact that all these games are coming, and is there come a point where your more kind of mainstream gamer says, well, actually, I do want to play an Alien game and a Batman game and a Metro game, Assassin's Creed game, maybe.
I think the Alien will definitely sell.
yeah, at some point a tipping point gets reached where people are like, actually, I want to play all these franchises. So what do you guys think?
I definitely think there is. I mean, the thing that made me dip my toes into VR was Resident Evil 7 VR mode. That was the thing that made me go, oh, I don't want to play that. I want to play that in VR. So that was what made me, actually eventually get a VR. So I definitely think with games with big IPs that come into VR, I definitely think it's going to make people have that same kind of experience where they go, oh, I want to experience that. I want to see what an alien looks like in VR. I want to experience that horror of it. So I think it will, get some people interested more in the actual medium of VR. But there's also the question of, will they wait? Will they, leave it for a while? Will they jump straight into it? Because again, with sales, it always comes back to the, that first week, that's usually what they need the big sales on. So the question is it going to kind of make people just jump the gun straight away? And I really hope it does. I mean, even for Metro, like you said, that's such a big title in the gaming world. From even from books to the actual games itself, it's such a big franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And when that got announced, my jaw dropped. I was hyped just seeing the subway, just seeing that in VR, and I'm like, oh wow, I want to be in that world. And that thought in my mind, that's got to hit some other people as well, just to go, I want to be there. I love Metro. I want to be in that world. So I think it's definitely going to hit people with that.
Yeah, and I think that was for me was with the Horizon Call of the Mountain game. Is being in that world is incredible, and I think a lot of people will be Batman Arkham series fans and will probably find it very hard to resist. I think
I enjoyed the first Batman game. I know it's from a different developer, but that first point where you put on the cowl and you wear the Batman mask, it just felt like, I'm going to say it, I felt like I'm Batman.
Yeah,
it gave me that feeling, and it's such a powerful thing in VR to get that feeling from a game, almost like you have the power of the Batman. You are the Batman. It's them type of immersive experience that I think people don't have until they've tried it. So yeah, I mean, I do think you're on saying. I do think people are going to start, going, this is the time for me to give it a go.
I think it's dependent on the console as well, because we always see around like Christmas time, if Batman comes out in November, December, Quest exclusive, that's going to be under a lot of people's Christmas trees, because that is like a lot of people get them at Christmas and play it with the family, and then get the family members to then buy one, go out and buy one. PlayStation's a bit of a different story, because one, you have to have the PS5 already, and as far as a mass audience, maybe like, especially for younger children, they don't have the latest and greatest consoles, and the buy-in point for that is a console and a very expensive headset at the same time. So for me, people more our age, I think, if you see Batman or Alien coming out, it's like, oh, one, I've already got a PS5, I'll jump in and get the headsets because I want to play those games. But if you don't have both peripherals already, it's more of a buy-in point that a lot of people can't quite afford. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said PSVR2's audience are people that own a PS5, which is kind of most hardcore gamers these days, increasingly. Especially with Xbox going more, bringing the titles across. I think most people will want to own a PS5, especially once Sony show their hand what they're actually making. But I mean, for people that aren't aware of the news, so the Batman Arkham game, it's being developed by the studio that made the Iron Man VR game, which obviously came to PSVR, the original one.
It was originally on PSVR one, then went to Quest.
Well, wasn't it? Yeah, obviously Meta bought that studio that made that, so they're now a first-party studio for Meta. So that's why they're now making this game. And you've got to think like Meta must be paying a fortune to get the Batman Arkham license, and they've obviously got the studio that they bought to make it. So don't begrudge them making an exclusive game. They've bought the studio. I presume Sony could have bought that Iron Man dev, but they chose not to. So they could
confirmed to be in the Arkham universe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's within the Arkham storyline. It's just I don't know. Like I don't know if it's in any way linked to the Arkham Knight and the actual the Rocksteady games. I don't know if it's linked to them in any way.
Yeah, I think it is in the same universe. I don't think Rocksteady are making it.
Rocksteady have got nothing to do with it, which was my first shock. I was like, no, Rocksteady aren't involved. But then I was like, okay, the trailer looks awesome. I'm hyped.
They're not a VR dev, so why would they be? I guess
they did the other Batman game in VR. The first Batman, on PSVR one. That was Rocksteady.
But so they just did a teaser trailer at the moment. They didn't really show anything. It's more just kind of cinematic. And Summer Games Fest, they're going to have a full reveal of it there. I mean, I do think I see why Meta will keep it as exclusive, and it makes absolute sense to them. But I do think VR just needs to take up, and there's so few people are going to play these games when they're locked on a headset. I think Sony should put Horizon on Quest now. It's just like no one is going to choose to buy. I don't know. Give it like a period of exclusivity and then bring it across. So people, if they really want to play this game, they'll go out and they'll get the Quest. It'll be job done. But then you give it a chance to actually sell as many copies as possible and get that return on the investment for the actual developers making the game by selling it everywhere.
I agree with that. I agree with the timed exclusive to VR. And I think as well, it goes back to some exclusives that are multiplayer on VR. There's not. I don't think there's a place for exclusive multiplayers. I think you at least need them to be on 2 headsets, which Quest does quite a lot with the multiplayers they'll put on PC and also Quest systems.
Firewall proves your point there.
Yeah, it's one of them things. But no, I do agree. With having maybe a year exclusive window for a VR game, and then going, actually, we've got the sales that we're going to get within this year. Let's put it across because it makes sense and it will keep that that same game just getting talked about, and then more people get excited for it. And I'm always happy to see Quest games come across the PlayStation because you do get them extra little bits. Sometimes you get the haptics, sometimes you get the favorited rendering. You get these extra things that amp up these experiences. So no, I do think exclusives should be timed.
They're not going to lose money on Alien or Batman coming to PlayStation VR.
Alien's already coming to PlayStation.
That's great news.
Yeah, but I mean, Batman, I suppose people will... That is strong enough franchise that if they can only play it on Quest, that might sway them to get it. But that's why I mean, give it there for like a year and then say it's going to come across. And that's why I think if Ubisoft makes Assassin's Creed, they're not first party to anyone, so why not? Like, surely they want to sell as many copies of that game as possible. They've said they didn't get the numbers they were hoping for on Quest. I presume they got a huge wad of cash from Mark Zuckerberg, so they're not going to mind. But,
I suppose it calls into question if the Meta store on PC gets that version, and you could potentially then use your PS VR2 headset on PC to play them on PC. That's the question to ask.
Yeah, but I mean, Sony as well, you see they're bringing their games to PC, and they should treat Quest as, clearly Quest is not their main competitor in the same way Xbox is. PlayStation never going to put their games on Xbox, but it's not like they're all in on VR, is it? Hardly. Come on, it's not like they should see Quest as a competitor to themselves, maybe to PS4 too. But I think they just need to get the sales for those games. So why not bring their any other first-party games they've got? I mean, imagine if they put Astrobot, the original one, on Quest. That would just sell huge numbers of it.
I'm still holding out for an Astrobot announcement this year. Like, I need it. We need Astrobot.
Yeah,
they have to do something, right? So
to my point, that is probably what you'd expect Sony in if they do a May.
Yeah,
showcase.
That'd be great. That'd be great on Quest.
A new Astrobot.
If they did, no, I know, but with you saying obviously them porting games across, like some of them I think would work great on Quest. Like obviously Astrobot would work very well there. It's one of them ones that's very similar to Max Mustard, and that works phenomenally on that system. So it's one of them things where I do think you're hitting the nail on the head there. They should put some games across, but then you'll always get some people that are like, nah, just keep it to one system. And I don't know, I'm getting tired of that.
Switchback as well. So, like, no one's buying a PS VR2 just so they can play
Switchback. Would work very well on Quest as well.
Yeah, just want they just need to sell as many copies as possible to make more games like this viable. If they know that when they make it, it's worth investing in a game so they can sell it on their hub, their platform, get some exclusivity, get the sales from it, and then after that they get another chunk of cash towards it. It just means they can keep investing and make more games. So I think it seems crazy. They're not big enough platforms to keep games exclusive. But anyway, back to the point in hand. I do think people are very snooty and very dismissive of VR. But I think if you've got an Alien game, caveat is these need to be good. They need to turn out good games. But Alien, Batman, and Metro, and maybe if Assassin's Creed ported over again, so that gets another burst of attention. I think that people will be like, yeah, maybe I can't keep ignoring.
There's no games on VR, but they all sound like amazing experiences.
They're like proper games as well in people's minds. Like people very much they see games because they've never heard of Red Matter. They're like, well, I don't care about that because I don't know what that is, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on it. But when you start to get lots of entries in these big name franchises,
but you are missing out on it.
Yeah. Well, I know, but they don't. And they feel like, well, ignorance is bliss, I guess, because it's like, well, I'm sure it is a great game, but I don't have a headset. I don't want to convince myself to get a headset. So
no,
I'd rather
I do agree. More big IP names. I suppose
there's nowhere really demoing headsets. That's the problem. You don't have headsets in the store for someone to check out a PlayStation VR2 and see how good it is.
talking to Realm, and he said about when he first got a PC VR, he went into game and they had one on demo, and he tried it, and he's like, "Cool, I'm going to buy one now." It's it's one of them things, isn't it? Like it's having that time to experience it. And if also if you have a headset yourself, I implore you to get other people to try your headset. Yeah. Just give them a little go. It don't even have to be that long. Like it's enough for them to go whether it's something they want or not. So yeah, you just got to keep pushing it some way or another.
Speaking of Batman VR, the first time I ever went to Gamescom, I think it was 2016, they did actually have a massive line of PlayStation VR1 booths, all with the Batman playing, all the big backdrop, and they had like the bat ears on the headsets on top, and there was just lots of people playing it. But
that's great.
I've not seen any extent of that for PSVR2. I mean, I've not been to many events like that recently, but I don't know.
Problem is when you watch footage of other people playing VR, it makes me feel really horrible to watch because it's just jerks around us just as naturally. People are looking around.
It doesn't look natural, does it?
It's unpleasant to watch. So I feel like they need to do some sort of video demos of it, but using like a control stick to move it around to the head. They just use a fixed camera to look around the environments, which I presume developers can do in a kind of out the headset mode. They must have some control of the camera and stuff just to show people here's the experience and just trust us inside the headset when it's all around you. It would be amazing, but I think that would make it more appealing for people just trying to check out games, what they're like. If there's any footage of it was just not so jerky and sort of horrible to watch. Well, we shall see. We shall see if Quest's attempts or Meta's attempts to make the metaverse a thing start to pay dividends later on this year with some arrival of these big name franchises. And let's hope with Apple, if they have another go at doing a headset that might be a bit more affordable, and if Sony actually announce some games for theirs as well, it might start to get a bit more of a momentum behind it, which would be great to see. Cool. Well, I think that's a nice place to end on. You got any final thoughts, gents?
No, just a pleasure to be here and talk VR with you guys.
No, well, thanks you for dropping in again, Sean.
You're welcome.
Thank you to our listeners for listening and our audience for viewing. If you've enjoyed this episode, please tell your family and friends all about us. And if you'd like to get more involved, once again, don't hesitate to drop into our Discord and say hello. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Sean and Reese, and we will see you again next time. Until then, it's goodbye. Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 63 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of PSVR2. I'm your host, Laura. Laurie. Oh, fucked it up, innit? Fucked it up. Laura? Who's Laura?